Everybody, it's Toni-Maree here. I have with me a beautiful little soul. This is Ripley. Here she is. This is my new puppy, well, my daughter's new puppy, who's very sleepy. So she will be sitting on my lap during the readings today. And just while I'm waiting for everybody to come on, I wanted to say hello. And I hope everyone is having an awesome day. I know I am. I had the most amazing session last night with Trish Rock's group. She talks about fifth dimension, and we were talking about fear and how it stops us from living and how it stops us from doing what we want to do and what we're meant to do here on this earth. And the most amazing open group of people. So thank you for having me, Trish. It was just fabulous to be able to present to your group. And I'm just going to put this little one on my lap and see how she settles. Okay, so as usual, I'm here for half an hour to do readings for everybody. Managed to get onto the laptop this time, which is really good. And I just wanted to do one more thing this morning, and that is to give a shout out to everybody in Manchester who may know somebody who had family or anyone involved in the tragedy yesterday at the concert. It's always terrible when this kind of thing happens, and I know we're calling the people who organised it terrorists, but my word for them is coward, because only cowards set bombs where children and young people are going to be, and don't, do the deed themselves, so to speak, and then walk away and wait for it to harm people. So to the cowards, calm's a bitch. To the people who have been hurt and injured, I wish you love and light and laughter as soon as possible. Okay, so just shuffling my oracle cards, and again I'm using my Magic Messenger card deck. That's Raven, if you want to know how you spell it, Raven. Pronounce it, Phelan. I love Raven's cards. This one in particular, that was the pup's head. I might just move back a little bit. So please shoot me your messages. Either I've got my phone here, so you can text them to me, or you can, I'm just opening it up now, or you can, if you can't text, then you can put them on the Facebook Live, and I'll get them and I'll do the readings for you. And just a quick notice, I am at Erindale. If you're in Canberra this week, I'm at Erindale, and I'm giving readings all day Saturday at Christine's clothing shop. And so you need to give her a call, and I'll get the number for you in a moment. My cat has just arrived. You probably saw something move there. He's right here out of camera, just there. And my other dog's looking at him. So it's going to be an interesting reading. We're going to have lots of spirits with us today, animals in particular. Okay, any questions so far? Nothing so far. Okay, so let's pull a card for the day. Okay, and what do we have? Just something to give everybody some guidance for today, please. Okay. Good one. Make the sacrifice. It's a bit hard to see. It's kind of a Grim Reaper type card. Make the sacrifice. It's actually a dragon. I don't know if I can get that clearer. There we go. So there's the dragon there, holding a skull. Very sinister looking card, but it's actually not. This is all about making the sacrifice. It's all about tapping into you and just, being willing to step outside your comfort zone and to make a sacrifice, and that is your comfort. Because that's my cat again. Because the only time that change happens, that wonderful things happen in our world, is when we make a sacrifice. Okay, and that can be as simple as like people give up things for Lent if you're a Christian. There's Ramadan, they give up food during the day for Ramadan. It can be as simple as foregoing alcohol, foregoing chocolate, foregoing sleep. It doesn't really matter, but the whole idea of this kind of a card is to make a sacrifice, knowing that that sacrifice humbles you, that it allows you to remember that you have so much in the world, more than you think you have, to be thankful and grateful for that, and to celebrate that fact, but also to get out of your comfort zone, to get out of your rut, to get out of where you are right now, do something a bit different, do something a bit new, and sacrifice that comfort and that safety just for a moment. Some people like to do dramatic things like jump out of planes. I've done that, and that's fantastic. Other people like to do just something small, and it can be as simple as going for a walk with the dog, or changing your timetable up a bit. It doesn't really matter. The idea is to actually make it uncomfortable for you and a little bit out of the ordinary, so that you actually are making a sacrifice. The other thing that I like to encourage people to do when this card comes up for them is to actually do something for people who have less than themselves. So as an example, I like to volunteer, or I might see someone who's homeless, especially here in Canberra in winter, and I might buy them a cup of coffee and something to eat that they can keep. So that's what that card is all about. Okay, so I have a text message here, and it's from Ruth. Okay, and Ruth would like to know more about, okay, all right, so Ruth would like, sorry, she's still texting me. So Ruth would like to know more about the house sale and how that's going. Okay, right, so these are just reminding everybody again that Oracle is generic answers, not specific. Tarot is for more specific answers. That is how I work. Some people can use Oracle and get really specific answers. I tend not to have that quite so much. Okay, so Ruth. Okay, this is interesting. We've got change is unavoidable, so I'm just trying to hold that safe, straight. Change is unavoidable, and we've got a beautiful, beautiful man there, and you can see the butterfly or the moth, which signifies change, and over here you've got a dragonfly. This card actually has come up recently for a number of people that I've done readings for, because I tend to start with just a quick oracle card. And change is unavoidable. I'm just tapping into it for you, Ruth. It's okay, so it's really shedding a skin. So Ruth, for you, it's like a snake shedding its skin. It's renewal. It's re-energizing. It creates more movement, more purpose. It is growth in that you physically grow, but you're also able to move through that growth more easily. Okay, because when you think about a snake skin, it's very restrictive when it's ready to shed, and it holds the snake back. It doesn't move much. It tries to relax, and then it has to go through a lot of turmoil, a lot of movement to actually shed that skin. It's got to rub itself up against something, abrasive or sharp to get rid of it. So it's basically signifying in our life that you've done a lot of that work, and that the skin is now shedding. So it's freeing you up. You've done the hard yards, so to speak, and it's freeing you up to actually move forward in your life and to live the way that you really want to. It also is allowing you with the house to move past that. So there's something there that's been holding you back with the property, and it's going to become very clear as to how you need to shed that. Now, I'm getting a sense it's not money. There's something there that you're not seeing, that you need to pay attention to. Once you do that, the house will sell quite quickly, and you'll be able to move forward quite easily. What is it about the property? Okay, so I'm getting leafy green here. So it's something to do with the garden, or an overhanging branch, a problem. There's a problem there that people are seeing when they come through to look at the property that you haven't noticed. They're not necessarily saying it to the agent. So yeah, the agent, I would ask the agent if there's anything that has, get them to ask the people coming through if there's anything that they've noticed that needs to be fixed or adapted or changed or cut back. And it'll definitely have something to do with a bush or a tree. I don't think it's power lines. It's not that simple because you would have noticed that. It's something else. Maybe it's a toxic plant. I don't know. I think it is. It's something to do with pets and animals and young kids and a plant. So just check that out. I'd love to hear how that goes, Ruth, and whether that was or was not the fact and the case of the matter. Okay, so I have another text message here. Okay, this one's from Ro. Hi, Ro. And she wants to know whether or not she's going to stay in the town she's in or she's going to leave. And if she's going to leave, how long that might be in the future. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, interesting. Share your thoughts. Beautiful dragon. I love this card. So for you, Ruth, you need to share what you want. It's very clear. You're not tapping into what you really want. You're letting things get in the way. And by things, I mean excuses. Okay, so you've got all excuses under the sun to do what you're doing at the moment and to not make a decision one way or the other. You know in your heart of hearts exactly what you want to do. Is it to move or to stay? Indications from this card is there's going to be a young person involved in the decision. No, it's not a young person, it's wisdom. Okay, so there's a question that, so here's the thing. There's a question that is a simple question as if it's come from a young person. So kids have the ability to hit that nail on the head straight away and to ask the really pointed questions, right? Like, where do I come from? Why does the sun shine? Can we live without, air? It's that kind of a really blunt question that you might get from a child. Asking that question of yourself will give you the answer that you need, and you know it in your heart what the right answer is. I'd suggest you're actually going to move. It's not going to be quickly though. How many months? Years. Yeah, okay, so it's going to be years, but you will move. And things are going to change, and it's going to be very peaceful and calm. But you will sacrifice some of the energy and light that you've got for that peace and calm. And that isn't a bad thing. It's where you need to be at that point in time. Cool, magic. Love cards, love Oracle. Okay, so the other thing I promised to do today, while we're waiting for another person to join us, is, and to ask a question, is I wanted to show you my citrine ring. This is it here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll put it on. So that's my citrine ring. And citrine is all about success. It's all about light energy. And you can see here that, and I'm trying to do this, you can see that at the top of this ring, it's slightly paler. It's almost like a line through it than the bottom. And this is a natural citrine ring, okay? It's quite big for a ring, but I absolutely love and adore it. And I don't know if you remember from last time, but this is the ring that Shay de Montfort wore when she won the show called The One. And in other words, she was designated as the best real psychic in Australia. And even the critics and the naysayers could not find fault with her. And that's because she is the real deal. We all knew, but no one else believed her, of course. There's lots of critics out there, except for those who knew her. I didn't know her at that time. I've since met her. and she's absolutely fantastic. But this is the ring that Shay wore when she won the One. And it's not surprising because citrine, when you think about it, has huge success. You can see the light just shining on that. It's just incredible, this ring. And the thing with citrine is it transfers success from owner to owner. It has had a clean, it has had a little bit of a cleanse with sunshine, but with citrine you don't need to. It doesn't absorb negative energy. It only gives positivity to the wearer. It also helps clear your chakras a little, and it frees you up for flow and for movement in your life. I was attracted to this ring. I don't remember if you remember from last week. Pardon me. Last week I mentioned that Shay had actually gotten it from the very first female maestro in the Sydney Opera House. She was the conductor, and she gave it to Shay, and Shay had it for a very long time, and so did that woman. Don't know its history before then, and Shay decided that she wasn't using it, that she'd gotten what she needed from that ring, and that she just wanted to pass it on, and so she put it up for sale. I happened to be online, saw it come up, and I wasn't even in eBay at the time, just saw a message and just went, I love it, I have to have it. I put in a bid, and it was quite a low bid for what the price of the ring ended up being. It's worth $250,000, this ring, and I got it for a fraction of that. I'm very grateful to Shay for passing that on, and when the time is right, I will pass it on to somebody else as well. And I found that it's just drawn people to me, which I love because I'm a people person, I'm a helper, I'm a healer, I'm an energy worker, and I work with spirit. And it has just made me much more in tune with my power and with my abilities. As a coach, it allows me to tap into people much more quickly, and I have that gift anyway, but it allows me to really just become better at what I do. And so that's just magic. And it's a stone. It's a gemstone. It's citrine. So citrine can be much brighter in colour than that, but that one is just fantastic. Okay, so I have another question here. And this one, sorry, my pup who's on my lap is just sleeping, so I'll just pull her up a bit. She's sleeping. You can see my other dog there in the background. So I'm just going to really quickly pull another card. And this one is for... Okay, so this one is for Jo, and Jo has a health issue at the moment. She wants to know if the advice she's been given will fix the problem. Okay, so let's have a look. Whoop, that's the cat and the dog talking or fighting, as the case may be. Sorry, just pushing him away from the cat. Okay, so let's tap back into that for Jo. Okay, that one leapt out at me. Alrighty. This is intriguing. Okay, you were born to create. That's really interesting when it comes to a medical issue. Let's have a look. Gosh, Jo, it's okay. So this is the light coming through from the dark. So yes, it will be resolved, but it's going to happen in 3 stages, not just the one. So you've been told one solution will fix everything. It's not that simple. Whether it's medication, surgery, treatment, it's not going to fix itself on its own like that. You're actually going to have to combine a number of different medical tools to resolve it fully, but it will resolve, and it will be very clear. It will clear away the blockage. You'll be re-energized. You'll have more ability to live, to shine, to be yourself, because that blockage will be lifted. Yeah, so that's fantastic. And flow, so that's flow internally, as in the blockage, flow past the blockage, because the blockage isn't there, but that allows you to flow as a human being as well. It stops you. Okay, the other thing that I'm being told here is to pay attention to the blockage, because there was a reason it was created, and you haven't necessarily paid attention to why that's there. And it's to do with your voice and who you are and what you say and think about yourself. So start thinking along those lines, and maybe ask a few questions of yourself and see what comes up. Okay, so we're at the 20-minute mark. My pup is asleep here. Okay, I'm going to pull a card for tomorrow because I don't have anybody else here at the moment. And just before we sign off, I want to pull a card for tomorrow so that you have something not just for today, but for tomorrow as well. Okay, baby girl. I'm sorry, I'm just moving my pup again. She wants to be way too involved while she's sleeping. Tomorrow. Right. Okay, let the emotions flow. Got to get that straight. There we go. You can see the third eye is really clear in this card. And, you know, there's tears, there's coming out of this beautiful elfin figure. This is about shedding of emotions, let them flow. This is about opening yourself up to what's hidden inside and not allowing you to get in your head and in your own way. So often when it comes to emotions, we try to hide from them. We try to not let them affect us because that's seen as weakness, especially in Western culture. Especially if you're an Australian too, you know, we're taught to toughen up, to be tough, and to not give way to emotion, to not show it and express it, because people number one, aren't sure what to do with it, and number two, it's seen as a sign of weakness. But this is about letting those emotions flow. So if I was to apply this to myself, it would be, well, I need to actually, there's some grief that's still sitting with me, and it will for a long time, and I'm probably going to have a day where that emotion is going to flow out of me. I'm also doing a lot of things with people tomorrow, so there's probably going to be a lot of emotion floating around, and being an empath, for me, that means I need to be very careful about what I absorb into myself and what I actually notice in other people. So for me, it's a caution not to take on other people's emotions, to help them and support them like I usually do as a coach and as a psychic, but not to actually absorb it for myself. So it's to let it flow around me, not to dive into it. And I'm not sure how that might apply to everybody else, but if there's anything there that you've been sitting on that you feel needs to be cleared or worked at, tomorrow's the day. Okay, folks, that's it for today. I don't have any more questions. Thank you for everybody for joining me. Please remember to give me hearts and thumbs up as you watch this. I look forward to a session next Wednesday. I'm here every Wednesday at 11 o'clock. And then I actually go into my normal Toni-Maree page to do some more work there for everybody. So if I don't see you here in the group, I will see you tomorrow or later on today. Sorry, not tomorrow, later on today or next Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Until then, stay awesome, everyone. Toni-Maree signing out.